Speaking of throwing, don't do that. The flamethrower.
What?
although
Whoa!
I
We're
can't.
going for it, are we? Okay.
Right. Well, I honestly, I've not used it that much since yeah, I've not actually used it that much. I tried Face Melter when they buffed it, and
Not much after we bullied you out of it.
yeah, pretty much. And it was alright. It's better because it's not using the it's just ignoring the fire part, which is good because the fire part sucks ass. Suck my dick, fire. It's yeah, I mean it's not the worst, obviously. It does the damage. Actually, not really.
Yeah. I've tried a lot of stuff with it actually. Like I have tried to make the flamethrower, the crisper. I've tried to make it good, or tried to make it something I like using. I just can't. I really don't like it, and I know that doesn't mean it's bad. I also kind of think it's not that good.
Well,
Anyway.
right. So there's only like 3 real ways to play. Oh, well, 2 real ways. Third way that should have existed, which they kind of lead towards a little bit, but never actually focused on. But the first way is obviously the damage, just straight up damage out of the gun output, which is like Face Melter, and that is alright, but it's nothing special. You know what I mean? It's that damage can be outdone by quite a few other guns, but you have the positive of being able to shoot through things, which is pretty good, and I guess eventually give fire damage. And then there's Sticky Flames, which is, if you're going to run the flamethrower, Sticky Flames is basically the only thing you can really use. And even then, it's not that amazing. It's just.
It's also a very restrictive playstyle.
Yeah, very.
Sticky Flame. I know Sticky Flames is good, but I hated using it.
Yeah, because it's boring as all hell. It's
which is crazy, isn't it?
It's like the sludge pump, but instead you just have to look at the floor and shoot before the enemies instead of through them, which is what I don't get. But then, like the only other way that, the way that it should have been, is that it actually like setting fire to the enemies is it. Which,
now, yeah, but this is the thing that I tried to figure out, and I had the best time with actually was a build that focused on that, and I mean that because
that is the most
upgrade, the upgrade that sorts that out. It's literally a second tier upgrade. That's where they all are. The damage one, the Sticky Flames one.
Yeah, it's from
and the heat one. It doubles the heat.
Yeah.
It doubles the heat, so you set things on fire twice as fast. Where I take that is, I bump the magazine size all the way up, right? Use that heat mod and use the fear mod. So basically, it's not just about setting things on fire necessarily. Although the more heat, I think it actually helps like scare things away. I'm not sure if that's true.
I think it's basically.
But this seems like the way to do
it. You would kind of just spray down a horde, setting them all alight and getting them screaming, running away.
Yeah, that's basically it.
And that is
pretty
cool.
good.
But
it's my favourite way to use it.
It doesn't actually double down on that, really. There is no overclock to help it. You just gotta have ammo, which isn't an issue. But I feel like it's just a wasted opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, why have the flamethrower be used for like 2 ways, one of which isn't particularly good at, and the other which is boring? Like, it just doesn't make much sense. But I think flamethrower is definitely not the worst. I put it in C next to the M1000.
So would I.
Yeah. And speaking of the best gun in the game,
well, hold on.
No.
Can we talk about how concerning it is that everyone loves the flamethrower?
We'll probably hear about it if anyone decides to watch this.
Yeah, we will.
Or actually, I'll probably have a thumbnail picture of this, so...
We'll hear about it after we say what we're about to say, because I've noticed that a lot of people don't get cryo cannon.
It's a mixture of the two. It really is like a chart, right? It's like people that use the flamethrower just because it's fun is like the first bit. Then it goes to the middle. It's like, no, the flamethrower is actually good and the cryo cannon is actually bad. The flamethrower does like this, and this, and the cryo only freezes, so it doesn't really kill that well. And then it goes back down.
One of the definitions of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So, using the flamethrower over and over again, expecting to have fun.
Yeah. Well, that's the issue. The flamethrower should be more fun than the cryo cannon.
We're going to get some shit for this.
It should be. If it actually...
I don't know, freeze rates are pretty cool.
But it doesn't really... The cryo cannon doesn't... I mean, it does, but it doesn't kill. You know what I mean? What's, like, satisfying as hell? Because the flamethrower is satisfying and fun at lower levels. It is.
Well,
it is. It is.
No,
it
I
is
get it.
fun. It is
I get
cool. It is sick. You just go, and they just pop. It is so nice and so fun. But the second you get to Has 5 and they don't pop, and it's not fun because you're dying, and then the only way to play the game is to shoot at the floor. Stop using that gun. Stop it. Stop defending it. Make them buff it. They make them add an overclock that means that fire does more damage. That the fire stat from the flamethrower is like boosted or something. So like when they get set alight, they just literally just get set onto like white hot, and they just die even quicker.
yeah, I like the idea of a white hot flame.
Yeah, and then at least that would make the flamethrower different to the minigun, which is also something that if you want to actually have a gun that does damage and sets things on fire, the minigun is the way to go, not the flamethrower. Really.
It literally is. The minigun is. No, let's not get into the minigun's better flamethrower than the flamethrower discussion because
We don't have to. I just said it. We literally just said it.
That's all that needs to be said. I
That is
agree.
all that needs to be said. If we want to elaborate or we want to talk about it, just fucking comment or something.
I look forward to your letters.
Yeah. Cryo cannon is S. Yep.
Yeah. I think I agree, but we still need to talk about it.
Well, I'm just gonna put it in
Thomas?
S just immediately. It's fine. He'll agree. Basically, the
Alright.
cryo cannon means that you will win. If you have
Yes.
a driller with the cryo cannon, you will win. And I think
Everyone on your team is better when you have a cryo driller.
yeah. And even the cryo driller, it is no downside to run the cryo cannon. It's fun as balls, right? Like
Yeah, I do find it inherently satisfying because
Yeah.
like, shattering bugs is pretty cool.
yeah, and you
They
could
shatter.
you could even do
That's
that with the cryo cannon if you were barbaric enough. But or you could run an EPC with like a whatever setup I have, and you literally have a put like your own little fucking what's it called? Engineers secondary that just cuts through things. You have that with a couple extra steps, but then you were literally if you're ever like struggling, an angel comes from the sky, it's going to be a cryo driller. That is,
I mean,
that's how you're going to
we're
win the
gonna-
game.
It's coming from the sky.
Yeah,
He's gonna go
well,
down then, isn't he?
well, you know, he's drilling down from above, but you know.
Yeah, and he falls through and dies.
No, he's in the pod. But right, point is,
He's drilling through the pod.
no, he joined your game in the drop thing.
Yeah, okay, no, I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
Yeah, honestly,
Glad you mentioned that.
the free status effect is also the best status effect. That's just it like stun. It's cool and all. Sludge, slowness, cool and all. This completely prevents movement. No moving, no attacking, no anything. They're virtually dead, which is then amplified by the fact that you then do what 3 times more damage on getting hit.
Well, I think. Okay.
pretty
Free
sure.
status effect
It is 3
is.
Yeah.
So
So-
look, no, let me explain, right? Because you're not saying everything needs to be said about that. It's 3 times direct damage, and direct damage does not include any status effects or explosions. It also removes the enemy's weak.
Oh, it's terrible then. No, it's
No.
still better.
What the hell? When did I say that?
Well, why
Finkelstein.
bother specifying?
Because it doesn't. Well, what if you're like just a cryo driller and someone using neurotoxin? Still good, actually. That's still
Yeah.
a really good combo.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
it's an amazing combo.
It isn't bad. It's just that it gets
Wouldn't
better
that
and
just
better with
mean
more
that the-
teammates.
Yeah, they would slowly die being completely unable
It's
to
amazing.
move.
No, it's an amazing combo. I know. I understand that cryo is amazing.
Yeah, cryo is.
It's actually a pretty good combo.
I mean, of course
I-
it is. It's two of the
yeah,
best guns in the
of
game
course
put
it is.
together. Duh. But like, it's
Who'd have thought?
literally it is like the best status effect and a gun that produces it incredibly quickly because the gun actually reinforces the status effect this time. Unlike the flamethrower, it actually has. Hey, you'll do more freezing, and it's like cool. I love guns that actually
It also
do what they
has a
advertise.
lot of those upgrades.
Yeah, because
It's got like 2 for freezing power and like an overclock for it too.
and then it has 2 unstable overclocks
It
that
also
just
instantly
make it
shatters
more fun.
swarmers.
That just adds a spear
and against
and a
exploders.
ball.
Hold on. Ice Spear
It
is an
negates
unstable
exploders
overclock.
blowing up, which is fantastic.
It eliminates exploders.
So on Exploder
It insta
Infestation,
kills
it's
air
near essential.
units.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. Against like a swarm of Macterans, you can just wipe them all out.
Yeah, cryo cannon is undoubtedly the best gun in the game.
Yeah, I guess
I
it
think
is.
S,
It kinda
but I
is.
think Thunderhead's better.
You're wrong. No. In all fairness, that would come down to personal preference, because I think undoubtedly this cryo cannon is the best supporting tool in the world, which is not really it's a primary weapon, but like if you wanted anyone to join your game, it would be a cryo cannon, because you would just do better from then on. Like enemies are less of a threat.
One
you
issue
are
with the
good.
cryo is when you're joining randoms, because random drillers always use the flamethrower for some reason.
Yeah. But even then,
Yeah,
that is
because-
not inherently bad. It is, but also, if you play well enough with randoms, which is unlikely, but
Yeah.
it can happen, you then can have temperature shock, which you could also have with the, the EPC. Temperature shock
Yeah,
is then a
there's also
very easily thing
a lot
to
of
do.
there's a lot of builds with the cryo cannon.
Yeah,
Is there?
yes, there is. Albeit
No,
mainly
there's
with
only
the
a lot of
EPC.
builds because most parts of it are good.
Yeah, but I genuinely, cryo cannon is easily one of the best weapons, and I only say one of because of the Thunderhead weapons in the game, and the flamethrower needs to take a fucking look at himself in the mirror and realise.
Yeah, I suppose my only hesitations come from the perspective of someone who plays a shit ton of solo, and it's just the range thing. So I don't think that
done
really
a
holds it
total
back.
of 2 solo missions.
I honestly I still, even solo, use the cryo because it's better, because I actually quite like killing them myself
Well, no,
with
Tyler,
my EPC,
Tyler,
which
Tyler,
you
no,
kind of
my
ruined by
solution,
shooting.
My solution for this is I don't usually play driller.
Well, yeah, it's just
But usually the main problems in that regard with like the range thing, it's usually just like an acid splitter or something.
yeah.
And with my EPC that's got like heavy hitter and plasma burn, that thing's going down in 3 shots at most.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that is a negative of the cryo cannon, but it's not like picking the flamethrower is going to deal with that either, or the sludge pump. A weakness of drillers, all his primaries, is range. So, it's still, I think it's... And plus, you can pick Ice Spear, which is not a good shout, using an entire Ice
Ice Spear's
Spear
not great.
on
Ice Spear's
the
only
thing.
bad because it uses slightly too much ammo though, really. That's
Yeah.
the main problem. It's like 50 ammo, which is just too much to go.
I thought that was Snowball. I thought that...
No, Snowball is like 35 or 25, but Snowball also reduces your ammo.
Right.
Snowball's like good for Mactera Plague.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I would admit...
it's like getting breeders from like across the room.
I would admit it is
So-
basically only really like 2 builds for the cryo, it's basically just variations upon freezing quicker. There isn't much versatility.
Yeah.
There's not a huge amount of variety.
But in all fairness, you don't need any.
No.
Well, it's
it
not that
com-
there's tons of crazy
doesn't-
different builds. There's just
Yeah.
a few builds that you can have a lot of variation in.
Yeah.
The
Depending on
cryo
the
doesn't
playstyle.
need a crazy amount of variety in itself because it combos with everything and everyone.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It's not a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. And
Are we ready
S.
to move on?
S.
Yeah,
all
it's
agreed?
S tier.
S. Yeah.
I would
doubt.
put it above the Thunderhead, but I think it is perfectly valid to just... I'd say they're equal, alright? Like, I think, whatever. My issue
Yeah.
then comes with Sludge Pump. I'm gonna be
Sludge
honest with you.
puppy.
The reason why I dislike the Sludge Pump isn't fair. That's
Yeah.
just gonna... I would
You're
like
biased.
the Sludge Pump if that isn't the exact same thing as Sticky Flames. Right? Like, making the floor slow an enemy and deal damage over time. That is the only reason you would pick the flamethrower. Which I guess isn't even... That's just another reason why I hate the flamethrower. I like the Sludge Pump.
That's not why people use the flamethrower. That's just like the agreed upon really good way of using it. People use the flamethrower because they feel obligated to use the flamethrower, but they're forced into one way of using it. You use the sludge pump because you want to you want to
I
use
think
the sludge pump.
is a. I don't even know why I said it. The sludge pump is a fun way of slowing the enemies down on the floor and dealing damage. It's actually engaging and fun, and it like shatters, and it's like looks funky. Like it's the actual engaging way of slowing the enemies down and dealing damage, an appealing way of playing the game, unlike Sticky Flame. So I
like the sludge pump a lot. I prefer using it to the cryo cannon, but I haven't actually used the cryo cannon like at all since sludge pump came out. I know the cryo. But I think the cryo cannon is better.
Sludge pump is also like the closest you could actually get to an actual gun for Chiller's primaries.
I guess so.
You actually shoot the sludge pump.
Because it still has a lot of projectile drop-off, but its range is one of its biggest.
Yeah, and I mean,
strengths.
as much as you probably shouldn't due to ammo concerns, but it does insta-kill grunts, even it has 5.
Pretty much.
I
think so. I think you need to tune it in a certain way. It's not quite there, but it's pretty much there. Because also you can get it in a way where does it work in a way where you can use one shot to get the grunt with the sludge, but also have a puddle?
That's normally what it is, I'm pretty sure. I think it leaves the...
Those two, that can kill a grunt, I think.
Yeah. But basically, yeah, it is very good at killing, like, specifically targets, like, one grunt, bang, dead. Or a horde. You can, like, put, like, you know, get them stuck in, like, a charge splash, and then, boom, they're going to be dying. And, once again, thermal on the EPC, you now have an actual, like, you know, temperature status effect build where the floor is now on fire and sticky and slow, which is, you know, another better thing than sticky flame.
Well, yeah, that's why I use dispersal compound, which just, like, makes a lot of puddles.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
2 of those covers an area, and all the puzzles would get ignited.
Yeah,
Brilliant, I love it.
It is very good, but I would still say that it's, I don't know.
I think it's
It's not what I was looking forward to.
I think Driller's best gun for solo.
Probably, yeah. But
No, it is. Like I say that. I think it is.
I don't at all. I mean, obviously I'd run cryo, but I would rather use flamethrower than the sludge pump.
That's because you were gay. Oh shit. Sorry.
Well, no, because I think the flamethrower would kill things better than the sludge pump would. It just would.
Not when I have an EPC with plasma burn on it as well.
I suppose, but I don't know.
Look, buddy. Sludge pump's cool.
Just don't like that way of playing mainly. But at least the sludge pump makes it better and more interesting than the way the flamethrower tried to go about it.
Yeah, I've been seeing its praises a little bit, but I don't know if I would even actually put it in A though.
I'd put it in B. I'd definitely put it in B. I like it.
I don't know.
I like it more than the Hurricane, but I don't know.
Oh, I don't.
It's not coming down.
I like
to
it a little bit
what
less
like,
than the Hurricane.
So
No.
I think B. Plus, I mean, yeah, I don't really know much. I mean, I did use it a fair bit, but I haven't used it in a while since. But there's the overclock that makes it have more shrapnel parts. But is there any other really interesting ones?
Well, that's not interesting. That's just a good one. There's the shotgun one.
Right, it's not that good. Yeah.
It's better than I thought it was at first. It's not bad. It's actually really good for single target damage.
Yeah, but
somehow.
Isn't it like fuck with your ammo basically?
Yeah, and then it's the Goo Bomber Deluxe, which is more of a gimmick.
Yeah.
Anything. Although I feel like we might get some letters. We might get some discreens.
Yeah, I think B. I prefer it over the flamethrower, but that's.
But it's a strong B.
Much.
It doesn't have many flaws in my opinion, or really any major ones.
Flaws, get it? Because that's what it does.
What?
And it's all over the floor.
What?
It's all over the floor. It's
what?
all over the floor. It's in the walls.
What?
It's in the walls.
In the walls. It's in the walls.
Yeah. So I think it's alright. I think that's existence makes me want them to rework the flamethrower, because there is no good reason why the flamethrower should exist in the state that it's in.
The flames burn in the fire. I think it's part of, I agree to a certain extent with your position, coming from the fact that not even just in terms of function, literally in what you're looking at. When I have a pool of sludge that I've set on fire, that's more like sticky flames than sticky flames.
Yeah.
That's a sticky liquid on the floor that's on fire. That's sticky flames.
That's like
that's sticky flames.
You run
really.
that right, you're doing 3 bits of like status effects.
No, I don't even understand. I'm literally talking about just like the concept of
even
sticky
still,
sludge on fire. That rings more true to the name of sticky flames than what the flamethrower does.
Yeah. Like,
I just think that's funny.
I think the only I don't know, like I don't know. I think there needs to be a serious look at the flamethrower. But apparently there doesn't.
I'd take a lot.
Because
I
more
have a
people
serious
use
look
it.
at it a lot.
Uh,
Yeah, but those people don't have brains.
well, no, I mean that's rude, obviously, but like I think it does come down to that people use
They can't be
it just
insulted, they
because
don't
it's a
mean it.
flamethrower. Like if that was like any other type of weapon, people wouldn't use it. You know what I mean? It would have been changed. It would have been buffed.
Yeah, but what other type of weapon could it be and still function the same way?
I don't know, like the hurricane. Like it just does direct damage, but like pierces.
I was about to
stickies on the
I was
floor.
about to call out someone who ranked the flamethrower as the best weapon in the game.
Do it.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to name anyone.
Name
No,
and
I'm not
shame.
doing that. I'm not calling him
Actually,
out.
no,
Ricky
you're not-
Ron.
you're
I'm not
actually-
calling him out.
You're not actually,
What the?
You're not allowed actually. It's against the terms of service of Deep Rock's subreddit. You're not allowed to name and shame players.
Well, I'm not shaming him. I just disagree with him. I didn't actually say he's an idiot or anything.
It's fine. I won't watch this far. And it's actually on the.
Unless they wanted to hear us talk about the sludge pump.
Yeah, actually, this is probably the only part they would listen. Actually, no, the flame. Well, the driller arc is gonna be the flamethrower. Why the flamethrower is shit. But yeah, now on to engineering.
Engineer. Oh boy, I'm gonna have a field day with. I'm gonna take one of these boys round into the shed and spank him.
I like
someone
the
here.
I very much do. I think
I love the warthog.
it is a very solid
him.
weapon, very good damage. Its ammo's not amazing, but with its damage, it's not supposed to be. So I think it is a very solid weapon.
The warthog's a solid dude.
I would
like
put
him
it
a lot.
probably an A.
Alright, calm down. Is that all you have to say about it?
There is not much to say about it.
No, this is true, but that's probably my only problem with it, is that there's not a lot to say.
But I think that's kind of its goal. I think that's its purpose. I mean, you've got like what? You've got like mini shells, which is pretty good. And
Well, that is its point, because Engineer has 3 guns, not 2.
yeah, engineer's output is not supposed to be that high. The shotgun is just for if they get to you through your defences, you then put a
Which is
fat
why
load
that
in their face.
that thing of considering it relative to the class goes out the window for everyone else, but it comes in slightly, I think, with Engineer.
Yeah,
Because of the way the
still,
class works,
I
it kind of has to.
I think the shotgun does enough damage, has enough ammo, is reliable enough to be
it's
perfectly
It's
good.
weirdly precise, though. It's like a
And
really precise
it is
mid-range
very
weapon.
It is very precise, and
Obviously, it falls apart at longer ranges, but
and the turret thing.
Turret Whip is
Turret
my
whip
lord and saviour.
is
I will sing
very,
its praises.
very, very good.
I will
good.
sing its praises night and day.
If
Turret Whip is one of my favourite things.
if it was
ever.
like B normally, I think Turret Whip brings it to A.
Turret does me up.
So,
And we always used to, or I always used to use the other one. It just makes it automatic. It's just like great, it's automatic.
that's
Right,
what I
fires.
put on it like a while
Absolutely
ago,
fine.
well, very like probably
Turret Whip is
quite a few years ago. But
good.
yeah, I just use mini shells Turret Whip, and so I have plenty of ammo to spare on
Mm.
Turret Whip. and
I
shit
don't use
like
many
that.
shells only because I really like the stun part. And when you're doing less damage and you can't stun,
Yeah, well,
it affects it in a way that I don't really like.
I have multiple builds, and what the other one is Stunner. Stunner is nice. I do like Stunner. I forgot about Stunner. Stunner is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have a lot going on in Overclock. There's like 5 of them,
But
and
I
none
f-
of them are actually that special.
Yeah, but I honestly, I think not only was that the goal, but I think considering they're still pretty good. Still pretty good.
Yeah, because I would never say it's boring. 'Cause it's
I
not
think
very
if-
interesting, but
If
it's
you
very
put
satisfying.
any of them on, you'll feel it. Stunner, you'll feel it. Mini shells, you'll feel it. The ammo increase,
That's
the
a
damage
weird
decrease.
dude.
Like that is a very noticeable changes in all of them. They're just not that big of a change,
Mm.
like that drastic of a gameplay
It's
change.
weird though, because I think Turret Whip's like the best thing you can add to it, and that's just like Well,
just
it's
an
a 52 upgrade. 52 upgrades are like unstable overclocks, basically.
Pretty much.
So, yeah.
I've got to say, Stubby I've not
Oh,
used
okay.
much. Well, we agree.
Stubby!
Stubby I've not used much, and I've got to say it is probably my least favourite gun in the game. I think every time I've used it, I think I've just thrown. I've wasted. I literally, it just does no damage. I just don't think I can build a build for it. Like the build that I have is just all electrocution basically, like all of the electrocution stats and the overclock that makes electrocution do more damage, and it still just doesn't do anything as far as I can tell. I just feel like I've just literally got all this ammo and it just goes nowhere. It poofs into dust.
I don't know. Stubby is I have a complicated relationship with Stubby because I don't have it in my heart to hate it. Not even like because I like it. That's what I mean. It's a gun that I don't know how to rank. I really don't. I have no idea what to do with it because it's got some good ideas. You know?
That's it.
I think that it falls apart when you get to the overclocks. It's a fine gun up until you get to the overclocks because there's only really one overclock you can use. EM refire booster.
Which one
And that's because it's a great overclock.
Is that the one that makes electric do more damage?
It's just it makes it fire a lot faster.
Right. Yeah.
It's just a great.
I mean,
Overclock.
isn't like two of the overclocks like the turret arc and
Yeah, and they're both not great. Turret arc is crap. It's really bad. It always has been. Turret EM discharge was terrible. It's now decent, but it's restrictive. It restricts your playstyle quite a bit.
Yeah. And then otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It never really feels like it's doing quite enough damage as well, even on like Hazard 4. To like a Praetorian,
It really does
per
feel
se.
like a Sabata. In fact, Sabatas feel more weighty and do more damage than that fucking Stubby.
They put too much trust in the electricity.
Yeah.
Stubby. But it just means it falls apart when facing certain things, like bosses and oppressors. Common enough threats, like just bosses in general and oppressors, I think, and it can't really do anything against them. It's like, you need some help, buddy. You need some help. Electric Arc is a very good upgrade.
Well, yeah, I think specking into pure electricity is really the only way to go. But even then, I don't think it's that good. So I think I must be wrong, because it's just weird. It just feels dreadful. Like, I genuinely think this is like a D. Like, this is the lowest thing in the game.
No, not the Stubby.
Because I could easily
Love
pick
him.
the flamethrower. Like, literally, with the new game mode, the flamethrower is viable. Admittedly. With
Yes.
the new game mode, with industrial
Hold on.
sabotage, flamethrower is usable.
Hey.
Only for that
I don't know
mission.
I don't know what you're about to do, but I know I don't like it because the Stubby, electricity is really good against those bloody robots. Stubby's good in that mission, and it has
You're gonna hit. Isn't
it has
like,
a weak
ridiculous?
point bonus upgrade that I always use a bit, which makes it, I guess, somewhat viable against the caretaker. Somewhat.
I'm using the Stubby against the caretaker. I'm using mini pellets LMGs, and I'm just constantly spamming the fucking turret whip on it, and it'll melt them.
You can't do that. Turrets don't target the caretaker.
Then I'm destroying all of the limbs instantly with the turret whip, and then shooting the thing with my secondary.
It's weird. It is weird though, isn't it? Because the turret whip is like basically meant to be the equivalent to electric arc. They're basically meant to be the same, fulfill the same role. Yet one of them is much more like. No, electric arc isn't even more reliable. It's just that turret whip relies on turrets being out, which they should be at all times.
Yeah, what do you put Stubby on? Because I'm putting it on D. Or I would.
Well, I'm putting it in C. We need Tom's input really.
Tom could.
Because we need a deciding vote.
Not sure if
On.
it. Stubby.
The Stubby.
I think it's the worst gun in the game, and sitting at D.
I think it's fantastic.
I
Killed
think
him really
here we
quickly.
go.
you're what gun? What game are you playing?
It's no,
Is
he's
there a
right. He's really
tank
good
in World of
against
Tanks called
anything.
the Stubby
No,
or something.
he's actually really good against anything that isn't big at all.
Yeah, I prefer the shotgun, but the stubby's really good.
He can
What would
melt
you say,
grunts and Macteras and stuff.
I'd say
Yeah.
a high B.
So
I don't want to put it in A because I don't
C
think
then.
it's really good, but
It's ended up in C due to you putting it B, Harry putting it C, I put it D.
I've been trying to come up with my way to summarise it, and I still haven't got there.
I would
Because
use
it's
it
something
more,
along
but
the
I
lines
just
of it's
can't bring myself to do
something along the lines of it's like too simple but too awkward at the same time.
I think it also is the gun that I noticed ammo being the biggest issue for, to be honest with you. More than any other gun,
Yeah.
I noticed that, hold on,
Oh.
I'm out of ammo.
Well,
with the
You see, I
stubby.
agree, but
And
there's someone left.
that's, yeah. And also noticed
I don't
that-
have an ammo problem with it.
Tom,
Do you even
shut up.
use it?
Yeah.
Like, what,
You didn't
twice?
even play the game.
In your 2 solo missions, is that?
Like the stubby.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I played like 1,000 online missions.
It is kind of crazy that you've only done 2 solo missions. It's just the proportion thing.
I don't think it's 2, I think it's 1.
Yeah. Tyler, do you know how many you've done?
Probably like 100 or so.
The only
Oh,
solo mission I did
that's a
was
lot more
the
than I would
starting
expect.
tutorial one.
Well, I used to just grind out JDs, didn't I? So I'd hop into very short missions, grab JDs and get the fuck out of there. So I did
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 missions in the same rotation. So
Yeah, I
got
did that,
tons
but I
now.
just joined randoms when they had a minute left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Got-
okay with the
you've got
stubby.
probably more
Outed
than you did.
yourself as the worst type of player.
I think the
Well,
stubby
no, I
just
carried them at the end when it mattered the most.
Yeah. Alright, we'll talk about all this later. Loki.
Hold on. There's just one last thing.
Oh, fuck's sake.
I
man.
can live with it being in. I can live with it being in C.
Good, because you put it there.
My
I don't really
heart.
give a shit where the stubby goes.
It's such a
Don't give a
nothing
shit
gun.
about it.
That is the thing. It's just
It-
if you're running engineer,
I think
use
it's
the
B, but I
shotgun.
don't
It's
care.
basically it's feigning being interesting. I think it being having electricity by default is actually its biggest flaw, as from a conceptual standpoint, because it's just a boring SMG. Yet
It is-
it does
it's-
electricity, which means it's completely locked in to electricity
It is-
being its
it is-
defining trait.
It is basically
Despite just being a boring
It's
SMG.
just another driller weapon, really. It's just a status effect weapon. That's all it really is.
Yeah, but it's only got one status effect. It's like a boring gun, but it's locked into one status effect. That's its biggest problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna put it then?
We put
C.
it in C. You put it in B. Harry put it in C. I put it in D. It evens out at C.
Smart
Now-
rifle.
Loki smart rifle. I have not used it much because I don't play engineer much, but I see potential, but I've yet to grasp it. And I think
Fucking
someone-
hate it. This thing. It pisses me off. I hate it because my hate for it is greater than it's actually bad. I know it's better than
Do you just hate
My-
it
my
because
heart
it's,
tells me.
it's not the gun you wanted for your main? Because that's the same reason I'm not a huge fan
Basically.
of the sludge pump.
yeah.
He hates the smart rifle because he's not smart enough to use it.
Now I don't often disagree with the devs, but someone asked them about increasing like the smart rifle's ammo, and it's something they actually responded to. Whatever they said, the point was that they didn't think that was necessary. I 100% believe its biggest problem is ammo, because it just runs out of ammo so fucking quickly. It's absurd. If you actually,
I don't know. I
because
think
you can't use it aggressively, but the way that you have to use it, I don't think it's all that great anyway.
the thing is, an ammo is not an issue as long as you're doing enough damage to compensate for the ammo. So maybe
You're not.
Yeah, maybe it's not that they need to add more ammo, but you just need to do more damage.
It does need to be stronger actually, and it seems strong. Like the bullets do a lot of damage. Actually,
They
it's like
sound it.
21 base damage
Yeah, and you
per
can buff
bullet,
them
and you shoot a
quite
lot of bullets.
Like
It
basically
doesn't feel like they're as strong as it says they are.
basically do anything with the gun and it gives you a damage bonus. Like, it's like constantly like you do more damage. You're doing this as well. Like you when you're fully locked on them, you're gonna electrocute them and all. It's like cool, yeah, fully lock on, and then it's like locking fully on doesn't really do much. Like it's like, and you lock on basically an entire fucking clip of your gun in like an instant, and you're like oh no, they're still alive.
It's like interesting, but it has a bunch of shit upgrades at the same time.
I think it's just
really weird.
too much gimmick. I think it's just
Too much gimmick.
Too much random shit that they added. Like, look, it can do that. It can do this as well. Wow, look at all these things you can do with the gun. Except then you end up not really doing anything because none of it's really
because
specialized.
Its best overclock forces you to basically you need like a full lock and only weak points to get the best out of it.
To be honest with you,
execution.
I mean, I think you're right, but like the only overclock or the only time I used the gun and actually liked using it was with the lasso. Like
that piece of shit.
I liked using it, but that is not anywhere near tempting or close to viable if you're on your own.
No, because that overclock almost sounds like a joke.
Yeah, because
so is it good for kiting? It must be, right?
Well, it just slows
it must
them
be
down.
good for grouping them up.
The more you lock onto something, the slower they get. So if you
I know that. That was a recent change actually.
If you have like a couple lock-ons to like as many as you can, which is probably about 10. You have like about 2 to 3 lock-ons, so about 10 of them. Then you can get a reasonably sized.
I tell you what,
like a mid.
I want to try that against the dreadnought.
It might be worth trying, but the issue was if you actually want to hurt them, you have to let go of their status effect.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with
which
Neurolasso in particular.
Yeah.
And then explosive chemical rounds, it's really good, but it really doesn't have enough ammo. It just doesn't. You run out of ammo with it so quickly because it's like 3 rounds to kill a grunt, basically, with that. But you have like only 200 bullets, you know, and it just isn't versatile enough. You're using too much ammo for certain things, and it doesn't combine well with
I mean, 3 shots. That's like what? 3.
Its ammo economy wouldn't be as big of a problem if engineer secondaries weren't the way they are.
Yeah, you don't have the liberty to like, you know, have a backup weapon with ammo. There isn't one for engineer. So
the problem with the smart rifle is not really a general use weapon.
Yeah.
It's meant to be. That's what that's what engineer primaries are.
I would honestly argue that the scout rifle should have been its secondary. And it should have been like a lower ammo but a bit higher fire rate weapon. And then like you pull it out and it like locks onto about like 10 things and like bang. I think that would have been a better move. Obviously, it's too late for that. But...
Yeah.
So the only thing you could really hope for at this point in time is that the next secondary they add for engineer is actually something with ammo. Because then maybe
I just hope it's
smart
good.
rifle could. Yeah.
I think it's good, man. Smart rifle. I think I probably ain't gonna get some shit for this because I feel like the consensus on the smart rifle was actually it's probably one of the more mixed ones. I don't think there's really a general consensus for the smart
Nobody
rifle.
uses it because it sucks, so nobody has any form of opinion.
I don't think it sucks. I just hate it.
I thought smart rifle was Scout's new weapon.
How? We already talked about it.
Yeah, no, but when it came out.
I mean, it makes sense, kind of. Not really, but kind of.
No, it doesn't. No, the smart rifle sounds like an engineer weapon.
No, it doesn't make any sense. I just thought that for some reason.
Yeah.
Alright,
Idiots.
so where would we? I would put it at B, probably.
Oh, look at
Using
you.
my expert opinion, I'm gonna say C, I think.
So am I.
Top. Could you just bump that up?
You bumped
Don't
into it?
have an opinion. But it does
Fuck
make
you.
does
I'm
make
not
C
putting
the
smart
majority.
rifle on the same level as the Hurricane and the Sludge Pump. I'm not doing that. How can you do that?
Because I think it is. I
You just said that it sucks.
I say
You
a lot of
didn't-
things
You
suck,
didn't say
Harry.
anything like that about those two fellows.
Yeah,
Those two chinchillas.
I think
sitting
those
in
two
there.
aren't that good, which is, I mean, and then C's are unusable, but I quite like the smart rifle. I
That was C's
I don't
meant to
think
be?
it's the best, but I barely used it, so
Smart rifle. Smart rifle. Smart.
I think B is the right place for it.
Smart rifle.
I don't think it's as bad as the M1000, the flamethrower, and the stubby. I don't at all. It does more damage than all of them, except maybe the M1000. It has more ammo than all of them, except maybe the
Well,
ones it doesn't.
You know, it doesn't. It does.
Has better smart
Its ammo
aiming.
economy is worse than. I think it's actually worse than the stubbies.
I don't know. I think it's kind of the same thing as the shotgun. That it's just basically you don't really just use it. You just kind of like once your
What?
turrets are out of ammo or when they're pushing through your turrets, you just use it to help clear the wave. I don't know.
Conclusion. Fuck you.
So we're putting it in C then. So.
Fuck the smart rifle. Yeah, please put it in C.
Mm-hmm.
It's so annoying. Because then it would have been like 3 of the new weapons in B, but you had to go ruin it.
Yeah, but now it's like two
Alright.
of them in B, one of them's in A, one of them's in C.
So,
Was there another new weapon?
what do you mean?
We've been through them all.
What one were you
Oh.
not paying attention to?
Probably the scout
Couple
one. Doing what you said. Sludge pump, I reckon.
Yeah, all of them, to be honest with you. Right,
Yeah, it could be any of them.
conclusion. Well, I think we can comfortably say that the Thunderhead and the cryo cannon. Well, we can comfortably say, but other people will definitely have our next
You're about to
for it.
say something that is going to be.
They're the best 2 guns of the game.
I'm going to have to refute. Hold on, because we've had discussions about this, right? And we also haven't done the secondaries yet, but we've had discussions about this topic. There's a certain young man that always comes up in this discussion. There's a certain 3 weapons that I always bring up in this discussion as contenders for the best. They are the Thunderhead, the cryo cannon, and that cool guy called the Breach Cutter. So,
Okay,
this
they are the
judgment-
best 2
we have to put on
primary
primaries.
weapons, in our opinion, which is better than yours. At me,
Oh,
I don't know what that means.
well,
Don't at
my
me.
opinion.
No, theirs. Anyone that
Theirs.
has actually sat through and watched this, if you disagree with
First
us,
of all,
you-
if you sat through and watched this,
bravo.
sorry. Second of all, you're a bitch.
Yeah. Well,
I'm pretty hungry. Are we done?
you can just leave.
Accidentally.
We're in the middle of our conclusion.
Well, no, we need to. Do we need to agree on like what the one best primary is? Or can it be a draw?
I don't think we can. Because I think
No,
the
because-
cryo and the Thunderhead do 2. Actually, they're very similar in what they actually are used for. Well, no, because
Being
the,
good.
The Thunderhead's
why
in
they're
S
there.
because of neurotoxin, and the
I think
cryo's in S because of freeze. It's because of the
cryo
status
cannon's
effects
better.
that they're as good as they are.
Yeah, but that is the cryo cannon.
Yeah, I suppose.
The cryo cannon's better.
Yeah,
The cryo cannon is good because it's a cryo cannon.
yeah.
And what's the worst gun in the game? Probably the stubby.
The flamethrower. No, the flamethrower.
I would. It's definitely between those 2. I would say stubby, because I would rather.
Flamethrower.
Well, Tom. Actually, apparently this argument holds up. Flamethrower is good with the new event because any robots that get set fire on instantly explodes, which is pretty damn strong.
Just
So-
use burning hell. It's better. It's a better
actually not better.
flamethrower.
Flamethrower is actually better at setting those things on fire. Because you're more
The fact
likely
that
to.
you had to put is actually better in front of that says it all.
Yeah, because the minigun will actually kill them before they'll get set on fire most of the time. Although there actually is kind of better at the shredders. Point is, Stubby is probably the worst gun of the game. I wish we'd put it on D, but Tom said no, so.
What?
Still better than support.
I said I don't care.
So can we put it a D? Please, Tom.
Yeah, sure.
Please. Yeah. Cool.
I have no feelings towards the stubby.
I'm
Good.
putting in S. That puts it in B. That puts it in
I think the stubby's S as well, actually.
Oh,
S for
nice,
Stubby.
majority vote.
I love the Stubby, but he's bad. I love him. Poor little guy.
I
He
think
gets so
the
much treated.
M1000 and the Loki and the flamethrower could definitely do with some adjustments. I think the M1000 needs to do more damage. It just needs to, or at least not just generally, but just be able to do more damage. They need to increase, like, they need to make it like 300% more damage from that overclock or something like that. Like, it just needs to be able to do far more damage than it is.
And the flamethrower
Flamethrower,
is more of a force. than the Stubby.
Flamethrower needs
More
to...
of a presence.
Yeah, I
The
think...
Stubby's presence just isn't felt as a primary, basically.
No, yeah.
It just doesn't. How is that?
Are you even laughing?
Stubby's presence just isn't felt.
I feel like it just gets forgotten about. It's like the most forgettable primary.
You just can't
Stubby.
feel it. You just can't feel the stubby.
The hell?
Yeah, and then I think the Loki is still in its incubation
I
period.
feel my stubby.
It's still testing out the waters. I think the same can be said for the sludge
Should
pump.
have filled my thunderhead.
Oh my god.
Wait a
My
minute.
thunderhead
We
or a
haven't
stubby.
even brought up the sludge pump.
Are we done here?
Jury-rigged boomstick. Now I'm done. EPC stands for elongated penis cruncher. Well,
Did you
Well,
realise now the
zip
video
line
is both
launcher.
started and ending, just listing parts of the game and just bursting out laughing.
pheromone canister.
I did it on purpose.
I don't think they did.
I think they named
Who is
most of the
they?
things as innuendos.
No.
Sticky grenade.
They-
This was
What's wrong?
this was an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh my god.
Alright.